Okay, hi. My name is Christine Walker. I am a licensed human massage therapist as well as a national board certified equine massage therapist. So I wanted to share a little bit about what it looks like on a daily day for an equine massage therapist. I thought this might help some of you who are considering it as a career. So here is one of my professional shots I had taken. But this really is kind of I like the joy in my face and in this is Steve in his face. And yeah, I mean this is really I love my work. Um so to give you a little background, this is not how I thought my career would go. This is definitely my second career. I have a background in I thought I was going to be a horse trainer, and started off as a kid. I rode hunters and equitation. So um, and I thought that that's where I wanted to go. And then I went to college. Then I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a trainer, but I love the nonprofit sector of being fair play, right? Like I was interested in I want the world to be a fair place. So I studied working with places like United States Pony Clubs, United States Equestrian Federation, United States Dressage Foundation. Like I wanted it to be a fair play sport, um, which was fine when I lived in Lexington, Kentucky. And then when I moved to South Bend, Indiana, it was like, there's no horses here for me, really, right now. So I evolved into becoming a human massage therapist and loved it. But the piece was missing. So in came when we moved recently to Omaha, Nebraska, which is where I now reside. I discovered the School of Applied Integrative Therapy Equine and have never looked back. So I now run a combined practice of working on horses and humans. But I would say 90% of my work now is horses. So this is just a cool shot of how you will be using your hands on them and moving their muscle tissue around. So this kind of gives you a picture of my background, right? Like horse showing, this is how I always saw myself. Riding, I was a rider. It's what I did. Um, and if I wasn't riding, I was grooming. So that's how I saw myself. I didn't see myself as this career path, but man, I couldn't imagine going back to thinking that this would be my future anymore. Um, this is pretty much my typical picture now of how you're going to see me. Um, and just loving being with the horse, helping the horse feel their best. It really is the a reward that I can't describe. Um, it fills a part of me that I didn't know need to be filled. So, but yeah, this is pretty much this is I mean literally this is an average picture from my day. Um, it's just interacting with other people's horses. And then this is also another view, right? Like I wanted to give you an idea, like this is a view of my day. This is Gabe. He is here. He's standing quietly. He is loving his body work. Gabe is not a laid back horse, but he was like, yes, please. They love this work, but there is that energy component of you have to ask them, you have to engage them, you have to get their permission. So it's not a forceful type of work. It is working with them physically as well as energetically. So this picture, this is an average thing of what I'm looking at when I go to work on a horse. This horse, his right hip was really high. He was really unbalanced. By the end of the work, I leveled him out. I'm like, benchmark, right? Like I had something to show, like, what did I do at the end of the day with this horse? You don't always have you don't always have this clear cut of an image, but this does kind of give you one of those things like, oh, body work can do this. Body work can help them. So I take a lot of pictures of my hands because my hands are my tools. You will need to learn self-care. You'll need to learn to take care of yourself, how to maintain those tools, right? You can't take yourself to the mechanic and change your oil like you do your car. You can, right? Body work. I get my own body work done. I get myself taken care of. I make sure that I stretch. Um, so yeah, the cool part here is like the gray and the black and white picture, just a sweet, quiet moment. Nothing else was going on around me. It was like, oh, yes, this is what I do. Um, this middle picture, it comes down to the things you'll start recognizing, like the beauty of the smoke and the dust rust coming up off that horse's back in the sunlight, in an early morning in the quiet of the barn. Um, it is kind of a spiritual situation sometimes. Everybody's like, oh, dust. I'm like, no, look at it. It's beautiful, right? And then the picture on the right, that's one of those like, this is one of the parts of the job that it's like, oh yeah, that's reality, shedding season, right? It was one to show like it's not always pretty. You're gonna get covered in horsehair, but really, who cares? It's horsehair. You got to touch a horse all day. You will become every other horse's best friend. Sounds cliche, I know, but everybody's always like, "Oh, my horses love you." And, because I'm not asking them of anything, I'm going to help them. And they recognize that. So these are just two guys that just, I adore them. I'm not kidding. I probably have an average. I work on an average, is a good number. I work on an average of 10 to 12 horses a week. And I could take on more, but I also have other things that I do. So to give you an idea, like I could do more, but if you average 10 to 12 a week, and then those repeat, I probably see an average of 40 or 50 horses a month. Um, so choosing on what you want to charge, but you can take on more, you can do less. It's really up to you. So this is also another fun shot. This guy is not normally a quiet, lovey-dovey boy, but he was just loving it. And you can feel that. You can feel through that picture, like he's like, yes, thank you. Um, and that's just an amazing feel every day when you can go and help somebody or a horse feel better. This little guy. This was on my first intensive in Wyoming in 2020. And it was just a young guy. I think this guy was a 2 or 3 year old, and he was just like, yes, thank you, resting his head and my shoulders as we're kind of working through his jaw. So, and then you see lots of fun pictures like this, right? It's a long story, but we won't say not every time you see a horse yawn doesn't necessarily mean they're relaxed, but these are relaxed horses. This guy's a fun guy. He's actually a stallion. Wouldn't know it looking at this picture. He loves his body work. And man, he lets go every time when you start. These guys, super chilled out, right? Like, yeah, my work did that. It is so rewarding. And then, there's donkeys. You might not always have donkeys, but these guys were just too much fun. I have personally worked on these guys, but they actually live at the barn where I work on some other horses. So usually there's a little donkey scratching, a little donkey work on the side. So, but they're not necessarily clients, but I have fun with these guys. So that's all I have to share, but I just want to show you like these are some pictures of just things of how things can be if you choose to do this line of work. It is really fulfilling. It is very rewarding. Um, Energetically very intense at times. And yeah, so if you are pursuing this or pursuing the thought process of this type of work, I will highly recommend it. I will have my email address at the end of this. Feel free to contact me or the School of Applied Integrative Therapy, and we would love to talk to you. But the world is your oyster if you choose this line of work. And going through a program like this, where you have more schooling, you have a brilliant education, you are set up to be nationally board certified. That is just filling the world with better and better and better education to help horses move forward in this world. Um, it is an evolving world for horses, and you can be one more piece of that puzzle. So Once again, Christine Walker, and it's been great. And reach out for me if you have any questions.